Welcome to Quiet Hour, where silence and shadow hold stories from long ago. Tonight, we step back into the medieval world, a place of stone castles, flickering torches, and whispered legends carried on the night wind. If you wish to return here again, you may subscribe. It is free and ensures these tales are never far from your reach. I wonder, where are you listening from? And in what hour of the night or morning do these words find you? Share your answer in the comments and let us see how far across the world this quiet circle of listeners truly stretches. Now, settle into the dark, breathe deeply, and let the weight of the day slip away. For tonight, we follow a figure who has walked through centuries of shadow, a warrior wrapped in mystery, known only as the Black Knight. The Middle Ages, a world both cruel and enchanting. By day, the clang of iron, the cries of merchants, and the march of soldiers filled the air. But when darkness came, the world changed. Picture a castle in the still of night. Its walls loom heavy against the sky, silvered by a cold moon. Torches burn along the ramparts, their flames bending to the restless wind. The drawbridge is raised, chains creaking softly, while guards keep their slow watch, each footstep echoing in the silence. Beyond the walls, the countryside lies hushed, broken only by the dim glow of distant fires. Soldiers camped in fields, shadows shifting against the earth. The medieval night was not empty. It breathed. It whispered. The hoot of an owl, the murmur of voices around dying embers, the faint ring of steel carried on the wind. Yet, in the stillness, stories took on a life of their own. Among these stories was one name, spoken quietly, the Black Knight, a figure said to ride when the moon was high. Cloaked in darkness, armor black as the void, his presence could not be mistaken. Some swore they saw him move across the fields, like a shadow unbound. Others claimed he appeared on the battlefield only when the fight was most desperate, striking, vanishing, leaving no trace but fear in the hearts of those who remained. He was not seen to eat, not seen to rest. He appeared, and then was gone, as though the night itself had borrowed the form of a man. In a world where few could read, where superstition ruled the dark corners of every village and fortress, the Black Knight became more than a tale. He was an omen, a warning, proof that even in a world of flesh and steel, the unseen still held dominion. Tonight, we follow that shadow, through the camps where soldiers whispered his name, across the silent roads, where hoofbeats echoed faintly against the earth, into the still halls of castles, where flickering light could not keep the darkness away. And as we walk deeper, the question lingers. Was he man, legend, or something far older that slipped between the cracks of history? The first whispers of the Black Knight came not upon the battlefield, but in the quiet corners of the land, in a village overshadowed by stone walls and endless war. Peasants spoke of a rider who passed at dusk, his armor, black as iron, left in the fire too long, reflected neither flame nor starlight. His visor revealed nothing of the man within. He asked for nothing but silence, and yet he seemed to watch, to linger, to wait. Children were pulled indoors at the sound of his hoofbeats. Priests whispered prayers when they saw his shadow on the road. Some believed he was a knight cast out from his lord, doomed to wander. Others swore he was no man at all, but the spirit of a fallen warrior, bound to a vow that chained him to the earth. And so the name spread, the Black Knight, a presence felt more than seen, an omen. When the battlefield fell silent, the soldiers searched, But there was nothing. No body, no rider, not even a hoofprint to mark his passing. The Black Knight had vanished, as though swallowed by the earth itself. Whispers spread quickly, carried from fortress to village, from pilgrim to merchant. Each voice added a new shade to the tale, each version deeper, stranger, more haunting. Some said he was a fallen knight, once noble, now cursed. Perhaps he had broken a vow of loyalty, or shed innocent blood, and the weight of his sin chained him to the battlefield until penance was done. Others believed he was a spirit, not of sin but of devotion, a warrior who had once prayed for strength so desperately, so fiercely, that heaven bound his soul to answer the prayers of others in their darkest hours. But there were darker stories still. Around campfires, soldiers murmured of a knight who had sold his soul for power, who had traded the warmth of his humanity for armor no blade could pierce, for a body that would not fall, for a name that would never be forgotten. A knight who rode not for kings nor causes, but for the endless hunger of war itself. Which tale was true? None could say. Yet in every story, he came when hope was gone, and left before dawn. The chronicles of the time hold fragments of his passing. A merchant, traveling near the fortress where the battle was fought, wrote of seeing a rider by moonlight. He swore the horse cast no shadow. He claimed the rider turned his helm toward him, though no eyes stared back. A priest, tending to the wounded, spoke of a knight in black who passed unharmed through clouds of arrows. When the priest lifted his hands to bless him, the knight did not pause, but the priest swore that the air grew colder, as if death itself had brushed by. And in one village, far from the battlefield, children whispered of hearing hoofbeats on nights when no horse rode the road. They spoke of a figure in the trees, watching, waiting, before fading into the fog. Each account, a shadow of the same man, yet never the same twice. Decades later, long after the banners had faded and the fortress had crumbled, the legend returned. The story tells of a priest who wandered through the ruins on a winter's night. Snow fell lightly, muffling the world, wrapping the stones in silence. Drawn to the chapel, the priest stepped inside, where only moonlight filtered through shattered glass, and there, at the altar, knelt a suit of armor, black gleaming, untouched by rust or time. The figure bowed in prayer, motionless, as if caught between this world and the next. The priest spoke softly. He whispered blessings, ancient words meant to guide lost souls. He took careful steps forward, drawn by both dread and reverence. For surely, here was the Black Knight, brought at last to rest. Yet when he reached out his hand, the armor fell forward with a hollow crash. Empty, no body, no bones, only the shell of a knight who should never have been. And so, the legend lingers. In every generation, the story finds a new voice. Soldiers speak of a rider who appears on the eve of despair. Travelers tell of a knight who follows them at night, vanishing when dawn arrives. Monks record tales of hoofbeats in cloisters where no horse has ever stood. Perhaps he is condemned to wander, his oath never fulfilled. Perhaps he is summoned by the fear and sorrow of war itself, a shadow born from human bloodshed. Or perhaps he is simply the knight, given form, so that mankind will never forget the darkness that walks beside them, The Black Knight has no end. He does not fade as other stories fade. For where there is fear, where there is war, there will always be the sound of hoofbeats, steady and relentless, echoing in the dark. And so, as you lie in silence, imagine the ancient roads, the ruined castles, the empty chapels. Imagine the black armor, gleaming in the light of a moon that has seen 1,000 wars. Was he man, spirit, or shadow? None can say. But his story drifts across centuries, like smoke, curling through the halls of memory. And perhaps, on some distant night, when the world is quiet and the air grows cold, you too may hear it, the steady rhythm of hoofbeats in the dark, the Black Knight passing once more through the silence of time. Sleep now, and let the story ride with you into your dreams.